What's up, guys, and welcome to my re-review of Lost Girl Season 5, Episode 3, When God Opens a Window. My previous review, for some reason, put a bit of a black mark on our channel. I don't know why, so if you have already watched it, then apologies that this is going up again, but I did want to get the review out and on the channel still. Regardless of the fact that the previous one was taken down for reasons that I am not aware of. But there is a black mark against that video, so we can't actually have it on the channel anymore, which is a shame. But, yeah, so I'm going to re-record it. The only downside is that it can only be maximum of 15 minutes. It's a bit of a pain. When I go on a fangirl rant, I do tend to rant for a while. So this video can be a maximum of 15 minutes, because again, YouTube have taken away our long video rights, which is fantastic. Annoying, but yeah, I'm trying to think back. I haven't rewatched the episode since I watched it. I'm trying to think back to everything I said in the first review. I didn't want to copy everything. I wanted to kind of take a fresh mind out of it, which is why I haven't watched my old review back. But I'm trying to take, like, when I get to, like, I've watched like this week's episode since recording that review and this review, so the things I talk about in this will be the main points that stuck out for me in episode 3 of this season, which I suppose will be make it for a better kind of like short review video, I suppose. So yeah, When God Opens a Window was the name of the episode. I think that's what it's called anyway. It was a fantastic episode. It was also a really bad episode. There's a lot of good and a lot of bad about it. Obviously, for those of you who have been following me in my Lost Girl reviews and on Tumblr, then you guys know how much I ship Valkubus, so it was a good episode in that respect for me. Those of you who aren't shipping Valkubus, at this point we don't really know who's the strong leader in the race for Bow. Tamsin is a strong contender now. It's not like she was kind of hanging back at the sidelines like she was in the previous 2 seasons. She is quite a strong contender, which is exciting, and it does lead me to think that maybe the other person that might capture Bow's heart could be her. So I don't really know, but it is nice to see, despite the fact that the banter and kind of like were trying to prove themselves to Bow, like between her and Lauren, gets a bit weird. Despite that, it is kind of nice to see Tamsin actually putting her foot forward and doing something about how she feels, which is good. But it's still like the episode was based around this Fae who didn't know he was Fae, and the guy there was this guy that was following him to try and hunt him down. It turns out that this guy, not only is he Fae, he is a shifter who is not shifted yet, who is also Dyson's son. So right until the end of the episode, didn't really realise until right at the end of the episode, and then we find out it was Dyson's son. But it was quite like a backstory episode for Dyson, which seems to be a common thing with the episodes. They seem to be giving each character a backstory, a bit more backstory, and a bit more attention per episode. The first 2, the first one was obviously Bow. Second one was Lauren with the attacks on her because of turning the Morrigan human, and this one was Dyson having a son. So maybe next week we'll have Tamsin. I don't really know, or there might be a new character or whatever. I don't really know, but it was a good episode. There was a lot of story for Dyson. We don't really know much about Dyson's past apart from the fact that he used to serve a king. And there's a big, like, kind of 2-episode long thing about that, but apart from that we don't really know much about his past, so it was nice to see that he has some kind of background, because obviously we know a lot about Lauren, we know a lot about what she did, and we know a lot about Bow, obviously her being the main character. I'd say we probably know more about Tamsin than we do about Dyson's background, which is strange considering Tamsin's only been there for 2 seasons before this season, which is strange because Dyson's obviously been such a strong character. But you know, it's good that they're kind of putting some more into it, and they're not just making it like a straightforward story. I mean, Bo's now slept with his son, and he's like given her his love to her. When I say that, I mean Dyson. And then he makes the comment about his son needing a big sister, and then Bo's just looking at him like, yeah, not like I've already fucked him or anything. But I was in stitches, it was a funny moment. But, you know, there's obvious competition between Lauren and Tamsin, and I can see it getting quite tedious, even as a Valkeepers fan. Like, it's nice to see Tamsin putting her, like, kicking her ass into gear, but it's weird to see her fighting with Lauren, because that's not how we imagine badass Valkyrie to be, you know? I think we see more of old Tamsin in this episode, and she's like, as much as she is... And as much as she is kind of putting her foot forward and kicking herself into action, it's done in a way that you would expect old Tamsin to do, and it's kind of like the whole I don't really give a fuck, I'm gonna do what I want, I'm the badass Valkyrie kind of. That's the kind of vibe I get from her in this episode, which is cool, because we've gone from having badass Valkyrie to baby Valkyrie to kind of not really knowing what's going on Valkyrie to like main character not really knowing what's going on even more Valkyrie, and now we have like some kind of badass back. So that's pretty cool. The episode as a whole, it was good. I'm not going to say it wasn't. It was, because of the Valkeepers, it was probably my favourite episode. When Tamsin kisses Bo right in front of Lauren, oh my god, I laughed so hard. And then she's like licking her fingers afterwards, and she was like, what are roommates for? And I was like, oh my god, it was so funny. And Lauren's just there like scowling at her, and you know, it's weird. It is weird, like so very weird. I don't really know how to feel about it, if I'm being quite honest. It's very weird, but you know, it's a good weird, I suppose, because things are happening that we've wanted to have happen for a while. The only thing I will say about this episode, and it seems to be a kind of like consistent thing that I'm picking up on for the whole season, and that's there isn't much back storyline. I mean, we get another kind of glimpse at the woman with the candle. We don't really know who that is and whether she's like related to Persephone or whatever, because obviously the candle was supposed to alert Persephone's relatives that she was alive or whatever. So I don't really know what's going on about that. And then they've got this kind of like symbol thing going on that makes one big symbol. I don't know if that's opened a fucking portal or something, but it's done something. Obviously the Morrigan is back as well. Vex is back, and I think Vex and Dyson, despite the fact they hate each other at the moment, will probably become quite good friends. The Morrigan is still human, and she's not very happy about it, so she's given Lauren this like deathly fey creature to look after until she finds a serum, which is fun. Maybe we'll get lucky and Lauren will fuck off for a while, I don't really know. But, you know, as much as I say that, I've been enjoying Lauren's kind of banter and smart-assness this season, as she seems to be a little bit toughened up, which is cool. But, you know, with Vex being back, I think we're gonna get a lot of the humour back that we lost with Kenzie. And to be honest, I can kind of see Vex becoming like the adopted Kenzie character, because he was quite close with her in the first place, which would be cool. It would be cool. I don't really know how it will happen, but I think if it does, it would be quite cool. I mean, like I was saying before, the only problem with this season is they seem to be rushing things as well as taking things too slowly, and it seems to be a massive rush on character development, especially now there's an obvious pattern of there's a character to focus on each episode. We've had Bo, Lauren, Dyson, with the 3 episodes that have aired now. It's obvious they're developing characters per episode, and they're developing characters quite quickly, but something's not right, because the story's not developing quickly. And I mean, I've watched the episode after the episode that this is a review for, so I'm halfway through the first half of the season now, which is paining me, but I'm not going to talk about that in this video because I'll just go off, and I'm already at my 10-minute mark. I don't want to go over 15 minutes, otherwise I can't put this video up. But yeah, there seems to be a lack of story development. We seem to be getting a little bit of something at the end of each episode, which I'm guessing is going to tie in together at the end. I don't really know, but the characters seem to be developing on their own and with other characters so quickly that you forget that there is actually a bigger picture. You know, there's all this kind of stuff going on between like the individual episodes and their stories like in relation to the characters that are involved, that we forget there is a bigger picture. And I don't really know how to feel about that, because at the end of the day, this is going to be the final season, and now I've got 4 weeks left, but at the end of this episode it was 5 weeks left, and I still don't really know what's going on. I mean, I think it'll probably be like that right up until the end of the first half of the season, and then maybe they'll tie it all together in the second half of it. Honestly, I don't know. I can imagine that's what they would do because they like to mess with our brains. But, you know, with the character development being so fast, I don't want them to then have to rush the story development, because as fast as the character development is, it is fast because it is being a little bit rushed. I mean, all of a sudden Dyson's got a kid out of nowhere, Lauren's being, like, given death threats. I mean, yeah, there's a reason behind that, but we don't find, like, there's no kind of in-between. All of a sudden she's being, like, threatened on her life, and then we find out Beau's father is Hades. You know, it's very quick, like, story development in each episode depending on which character they're focused on, and there's no kind of way of keeping your concentration on the bigger picture and picking up the little things because there's so much else going on. And I think that is going to be the downfall this season. I don't want to have to say that, but I think that's going to be the downfall. Regardless of that, this week's episode, or technically last week's episode, was good. I enjoyed it because of Alcubus and Feels, and despite the fact that it was very fast-paced for Dyson's character develop, despite the fact that we now, just out of the blue, he has a son, it was nice to see some of his background. And I do think that maybe his son will be a remaining character for the show, but we'll have to wait and see until the next review, which I know about, but I will post up on Wednesday. I hope you enjoyed the video. Apologies if you've had to rewatch this. I'm hoping to not have to do 15-minute videos for too long. I'm hoping YouTube will sort themselves out and give us our rights back. The next review will be out on Wednesday, so there's only a couple of days to wait till the next review. Keep an eye out for the rest of the videos that are coming up this week. Walkthroughs are going to be more videos in shorter time because of the restrictions of video timings. There is going to be more videos that are shorter on walkthroughs now, which again is a pain in the ass. I am sorry, guys. I don't really know what's going on, but you know, we'll have to deal with it until this warning strike's gone and fucked off somewhere else. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think about last week's episode, or technically if we're going from this week's episode, in the review in the comments. Keep an eye out for the review that's coming up on Wednesday, and until the next time you hear from us, as always, stay classy, gamers.